I know it takes two things to change the world: time and action. The first I don't have. I don't have time. It's given to me. Unfortunately, I don't know how much time I've been allotted. That leaves me with only one option I have control over: action. Good morning, everyone. My name is Savanna Barksdale. I'm so glad to be here, mainly because that means that I survived last night without freezing due to the lovely dorm heaters. I'm 18, so that means I'm still trying to figure out life and people and life. And I stand before you now in a world that is more globalized than it ever has been before. And I look forward to the last 3/4 of my life. And I wonder, do I really have the power to make an impact? And beyond that, how on earth am I going to make my moments count? What if we found a way to communicate and receive communication better by limiting the distance we place between information and ourselves? Imagine what we could accomplish. Because at the heart of communication is information. Donald Coase is a professor emeritus at the University of Kentucky within the College of Information and Communication. He's published many articles about information processing, management, and rejection, which is certainly a field of research that has been dramatically transformed in the last 10 years due to the rise of technology and the internet. He defines information as any difference you perceive in your environment or yourself, in the 2012 edition of his book, Looking for Information. Coase places enormous emphasis on personalization, on what that information means to someone rather than the information itself. I think he's onto something. Every day, I have information thrown at me in large concentrations with little time to process it before I have to move on to my next task or before more information replaces it. Lighthack is a social media publisher, and they report that the average social media user confronts 54,000 words a day. That's the ordinary length of a novel, or 147 newspapers in one day. That's like reading Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice 3 times a week, every week. These high volumes of information have resulted in the brain being selective with what data resonates. The information that resonates with me as a difference in my environment and myself is what I remember throughout the day and the week. But on the flip side of that coin, it's extremely easy for me to distance myself from information that does not directly pertain to my life. It's easy for me to discount statistical information that I don't think will happen to me or that I've never experienced. For example, if I told you that 1 in every 7 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, what is your reaction? I'll tell you what mine was. I thought, wow, that is a large number. How unfortunate for those women. Those women. Them. See, when I place distance between information like that and myself, I'm much more safe. Christy Barksdale, middle-aged woman, 2 kids, shoulder-length blonde hair, blue eyes that reveal the spirit inside as much too young for her age. 2 years ago, on New Year's Eve, she became the one. 1 in 7 women, faceless women that I do not know, became my mom, my mother. The distance that I placed within that statistic was obliterated, and my life and my family's life, my safe comfort zone, was disturbed by the challenges that cancer brings to any family. We need to be aware that statistics are more than numbers. They are representation of human lives, people who experience success, pain, joy, despair, humiliation. Effective communication targets those very human emotions. What you don't know has power over you. Knowing it brings it under your control and makes it subject to your choice. Abraham Maslow, an American philosopher, said this 52 years ago, but it still rings true. Every time I am faced with new information, I have a choice to make. I can detach myself from it, or I can actively eliminate the distance that I place within that information, and I can make it pertain to my environment and myself. I can open my eyes and my heart, forcing myself to make that information a perceptive difference within my life. A quick look at the Department of Family and Protective Agency's 2014 data books reveal that Lubbock County is among the many in Texas with high rates of child abuse. The Lubbock Avalanche Journal claims that every day 4 children are abused in Lubbock. What are your thoughts about this? Are you reacting the same way I did with the cancer statistic? How unfortunate for those children, them. I can tell you many things about child abuse that would make this information shocking and horrible if it isn't already. But I don't know how to make that resonate with you, because I don't know your environment. But I do know how to make that information resonate within myself. I do know how to authenticate that knowledge. This is a difference in my environment because those children are my neighbors. And now that I know what's happening in my community, I have control over that knowledge. It is subject to my choice, and I choose action because I don't have time. You see, I've been thinking about the challenges my generation will have to overcome in the future. In class and through all forms of media, I am bombarded with the current and projected effects of climate change, the human population problem, agriculture meeting that demand, human rights, world health, and terrorism. For a millennial like me, who's drowning in information and data every day and has been since I can remember, it's not hard for me to close my laptop, to press the power button on my iPhone, to change the channel of the TV and move on with my day without a second thought. As much as I hate to admit it, it's actually quite easy. But as Pocahontas says, the easy way is not always the right way. Young people are always coined with the word connected. If you're a young person, at some point in your life, you've probably been described as connected. I challenge this idea. Are we really connected? Because it seems more often we are not connecting. We are disconnecting. We are dismissing vital communication that is pertinent to our future, to the future of everyone here. I'm still learning how to authenticate information that could potentially impact my environment and myself. But now I have no excuse. The things I didn't know don't have power over me anymore. I have a choice to make that involves seeing and processing information in an intentional and a different way. Because nowadays, communication isn't long distance until we make it that way. Thank you.